What time is it? 3 minutes past. Just tell us what the latest W's done for the group.
Oh, it's always nice to win. It's always nice to get a win under the belt. You know, it's probably, it's been coming. It's been coming the last. So I said before, you know, we've run teams really close. The only disappointing result out of the past sort of 6 or 7, whatever it's been since the league game, is the Leeds game. That's the only game that's gone away from us where we've looked and gone, we never deserved to get anything out of that game. Every other game we've been in the game, and it's gone down to the last minute. It's gone down to, you know, 2 points, 1 point, whatever it may be. We've always given ourselves a chance of winning the game. So it's just nice to come away. Although we made it a little bit difficult for ourselves in the second half, you know. But yeah, it's nice, just nice to come away with the 2 points.
We're talking on Wednesday, so we won't see the squad until tomorrow. How different could it be?
Yes, it could be different because we might. We've had 2 players out of the starting 13 didn't train today and look like they could be out. But then we've got on the just coming back from injury, we've got Ash Golden and Joe Greenwood who potentially could come back. So it looks like 2 out, potentially 2 in. So yeah, not sure really. If I'm being brutally honest, the 2 players that potentially could be out, like I say, haven't trained. We're waiting until captain's run. I'm going to give them every opportunity to play, but it's 50-50 at this moment in time whether they do.
You mentioned last week about Joe potentially coming back when we all thought his season was over. What sort of happened with him where he's obviously now found himself potentially playing? Yeah,
when I said season, we thought he might get the last game in, potentially the last 2 games in, but he just really come on really. Just his recovery's been great. The medical team have done a really good job with him, and he's worked really hard, and yeah, it's just been plain sailing. You know, sometimes there's little hiccups when people get injured and they have little setbacks, but he's pretty much everything that's been asked of him he's done. His body's recovered really well. It was probably a game too far last week. We tried to get him to. He trained a little bit last week, but just felt still a little bit sore and tender. So we decided to give him just another week. Whether he comes into the team this week, you know, it's very difficult to change a winning side. When you win, you know, a lot of times the lads have earned the right to stay in the team. So yeah, whether he'll get an opportunity this week or not, I'm not sure yet.
To that end, on the subject of Kieran Rush, who's obviously managed to get that second game quite some time after his first, do you look at that and think, well, there's no point bringing him in now just for 1 game and leaving him out, etc, etc. If he's able to play, we give him a run of games until the end of the season, or do you look at it a different way?
No, I think look, he's worked extremely hard. Like you said, it's been a long time between his games. I think he's worked extremely hard. He's done everything we've asked of him. Played numerous games for Dewsbury. It's very difficult, you know, when you go on loan. I did it when I were a young lad at Wigan. It's one thing dropping into somebody else's systems and tactics and having that relationship with players when you don't train with them week in, week out, then play a game. It's very difficult when you're in the pivotal position. It's a little bit easier when you're a prop. You know, inevitably your job's the same job, whether you're a prop at Giants or a prop at the Dewsbury, it's the same job. Run as hard as you can, tackle as hard as you can. When you're a half, you're directing the team, or hooker, you're directing the team around, having an understanding of the person at the side of you, his attributes, what he's good at, what he's not good at, having the coach's sort of philosophy ingrained into you, the way you play. So it's very difficult for spine players to go and play in a different team, but he's done everything we've asked of him. I think he's done extremely well every time he's had an opportunity. And look, I thought he played pretty well the other day. I thought, you know, Ads Milner put a shift in as he always did, but when he went on, I don't think he put a foot wrong. His distribution were really good. He made his tackles as a little man in the middle, and you know, he's got a wicked left foot kick, which adds another dimension to us from a kicking perspective as well. So yeah, we're still waiting on a few players, and I still haven't decided my team, but he's definitely put his best foot forward.
Leroy obviously got some plaudits after the game, following that deal, and you spoke very well after the Magic Weekend game about him. Just expand a little bit, whereas if you could, on just how significant that deal is to have him still as part of the squad for next season.
It isn't just about him as a player. It's a bit like me. Look, I'm really close with Lockers at Wigan, and they kept Lockers on for a long, with a lot of injury history that he had and things going on, but they kept him around, and I think they wheeled him out for a Challenge Cup final, a Grand Final, a World Cup Challenge, and it wasn't just his playing ability, obviously an unbelievable player, but it's the influence that he has on the younger lads around him, and Leroy's probably in that mould for us. It isn't just about what he does on the field, which I said before, I think he's evolved with the game as Leroy. He's adapted his game. He's gone from a little thin winger to a ball playing loose forward, and the way the game's changed, and it has changed, within his playing career, he's adapted with it, and he's still playing unbelievable rugby. But it's about what he does off the field. It's like you've got a coach on the field. He's directing play around. He's pivotal to it. He really calms us down. We've got Tui who can create stuff. Jake Connor can create stuff, but you've got him controlling the team and bringing a calmness to us. And like I say, it's not just what he does on the field. He helps with the scholarship. He helps with the academy. He helps with the reserves. He's a coach. He actually coaches all those, and it's invaluable what he brings to the group off it as well as on it.
Yeah, he's still making a huge difference as well, isn't he, on the pitch?
Yeah, he is.
What do you expect from Salford on Saturday, given their Magic Weekend result, stroke of disappointment?
Yeah, I think they're going to come out all guns blazing. I think there's going to be a response. I know they've got a few men missing through injury and suspensions, but they've still got a quality side. When you look throughout their squad, they've still got a really good side. And for me, they've got somebody that's been reiterated today. They've got somebody who knows how to win in Sneed. If you give him an opportunity, the Challenge Cups that he won when he was at Hull, he dominated them games. He just knows how to manage games. You talk about when you get a little bit older, because Sneed don't base his game off being lightning fast and being elusive. It makes no odds how fast he is and how old he is, because he's got it between the ears. He knows how to manage games. He's got the best left foot at kicking games since Bruffy. And if we give him a little bit of a sniff and allow him to play and allow him to kick his team around the field, then we're going to be in for a torrid night. We need to make sure that we're trying to control him the best we can.
Just a couple of final points, just on the back of you talked about Ricky Latelli last week after the Magic Weekend thing, off the back of that speculation. Are you, as you are now in your current interim position, are you being kept abreast of potential incomings and outgoings and being able to sort of say yay or nay to things? Or
I wouldn't say I can say yay or nay. I think it's more of I feel like a bit of a consultant, if I'm honest. It's like a bit of a consultant basis where, look, we've not made the decision. If somebody else comes in, or it's me, but I've said all along that I want what's best for the club, and I can give my expert opinion and say, I think he'd be great, I think he won't be good, or I think he'd be a good fit. We're in a bit of a strange situation really, because we have 4 quarter spots remaining, or potential quarter spots next year as it stands at this moment in time. So you generally your best players are your quarter spots. They're generally your best players, because look at Wigan, everyone talks about the squad they've got and the team they've got and the youth that they have through, and they do. They also have Bevan French and Jai Field. I've said loads of times before, you don't bring players halfway around the world if they're not better than what you've got. That's generally what they should be. They should be your best players. So to have 4 spots still available, yes, it's in some ways a great opportunity.
And what is the latest in terms of your position? Has anything been said? Because as the longer it goes on, the more likely it looks like you will be in charge until the end of this season at least. Is that how you see it? I think reading between the lines, I think the end of the season, I think I'm going to be in charge. I'll be interim coach until the end of the year anyway, and then I think it's in the next 4 weeks that they're going to make a decision. I think it is. And are you still in the running?
I think so. Yeah, look, at this moment in time, yeah. I'm still wanting to obviously move the club forward. I still feel like I can do a really good job. Still feel like I can take the team to new heights. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that probably I'm not privy to, and yeah, they've still got to try and sort out with the club, which makes things a little bit difficult, not only this year, but probably next year as well. But they're out of my control.
Well, keep doing what you're doing, pal.
Yeah.
Good luck on Saturday. I'll pass you over to the other guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, Robert.
Robert, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. I think JD's covered all of that for me. Just on Seb, because I know that he's raved about him after the Catalans game. How confident, hopeful, optimistic, whatever word you want to use, really, are you that he stays at the club next season?
Yeah, look, the way that he's been playing these last few weeks, I think he's been sensational. I think he's been great, and I know that his father time's catching up with him. And generally, when you're a power athlete and somebody as powerful, as fast as Seb, you know, the older you get, obviously the less potent you become. But I think in the last few weeks, he's shown that he's still there. He's still got it. He still challenges teams every week, and he brings a point of difference to his attack. I think defensively he's been really sound, but as I said before, you know, some things that I'm not in control of. So I can control the controllables, and I've just got to manage what I can't control. And, yeah, and that side of it, this moment in time, is out of my control.
Are you surprised how well he's played? You know, given the type of player he is. You know, we talk about Leroy, and he's done a wonderful job of, you know, remoulding himself and reinventing himself. But there are certain types of players that, as they get older, they find it hard to be as impactful, and generally someone who has Seb's playing style would sort of fit that mould, but doesn't seem to be slowing down. Are you surprised by the way that he's able to keep playing the way he has done for so long and keep doing it so well?
Yeah, I probably am a little bit, because like I said before, you know, obviously he's power athletes and people of Seb's nature, you know, they do slow down, but they don't look to be slowing down. I think hopefully, you know, me and Seb have got a really good relationship. We had a good relationship when he first came over here at 2016, I think it might have been, when we've always got on really well. As kids used to play in the same junior team together, and I kind of know as well what Seb needs regarding his training and the way you need to train him, and it's not always, yeah, it's sometimes just about getting the best out of him. Hopefully he's really responded to the way we've been trying to do things. I think he has done that. And long may it continue, especially for these remaining games we've got this year. So if he can keep playing the way he is, then he'll keep causing teams problems.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Hi Luke, it's Martin here.
Hi Martin.
Good to see you again. What are your objectives for the remainder of the season? You've got 5 games, you're obviously not going to make the playoffs, but it was a good win against Castleford. I thought they'd made quite a big thing of wanting to finish ahead of you in the table. So obviously it doesn't look as though that's going to happen now, I wouldn't have thought. But you know, you're in 9th place, you're 6 points behind Leeds, who are in 8th. So you're probably not going to catch them, I wouldn't have thought. But you know, how do you view the next 5 games? Some people might say they're pretty meaningless, but I can't really imagine that you would think that, you know, or anybody involved with the club, to be perfectly honest.
No, I think so. I think, look, that's definitely not what I'll be driving. I think whether you're playing, I mean, I don't know, if you ask my wife and kids, then I'm not very good to play games against, whether it's chess or drafts. I want to win. And I've been still in that into the playing group. You know, when you start from a very young age, you get the privilege to play. It's the dream to play Super League for a young English kid. So whenever you step out on the field, it's about putting your best foot forward and wanting to win. And we want to win. We want to instill some sort of pride and give the fans something to sing about. Who stuck with us, you know, through thin times. I'd like to, you know, give them something to celebrate. But from a personal level as well, we want to win as many games as we can and want to put the best performances we can together and try and finish up as high as in the table as we can. If we can catch the team above us, then that should be our aim. So we want to finish as high as we can. Not only that, you know, you want to go into nobody wants to go into having 6 weeks off on the back of losses and doom and gloom. You want to go in with a little bit of a positive nature, and hopefully you can use that a little bit of a springboard for next year. Whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, we want to go. We want to finish the season on a high as much as high as it can be, and hopefully then that transcends then into the year after.
And from your point of view, have you managed to sort of work out why it's been a disappointing season? What sort of went wrong? Was it injuries mainly, or was it something a bit more fundamental than that? Obviously the season never quite took off for the Giants, did it?
No, I think
this year really.
I think there's been numerous little things. I mean, rugby league's about fine margins. So is professional sport. People sometimes overlook this. I think in 2022 we came third and got to a Challenge Cup final. But if you actually look at the results, I think we won about 5 games by about 2 points or less.
Yeah.
This year we've pretty much. I think there've been more than 5 games that there've been 2-point ball games. So actually the fine margins is that. But inevitably what happens is when you do lose one of the 2 of those close games and confidence starts to diminish, you start losing, it becomes habitual, does winning and losing, and I don't think there was that much difference between that team and this team, but them small little margins, I think there's certain things I think we could have done different. There's I think injuries did dictate a little bit, played a little bit of a part. I think some of them things probably fall on itself. We could have done a little different and a little better, and then other ones are freaking ages, and every team has them. But I think when I've looked back on it and sort of reviewed it, I've done a little bit of a review myself already, but we'll do a big review as a club and as a performance staff, and I think it'll point to 1 or 2 things that we could have done differently, but I don't think there were major things. I think just small things, but small things make big differences.
When you were a player, you were a really confident player. That always struck me, and certainly I can remember speaking to 1 or 2 coaches about you. When you were a young kid, Frank Endicott said you're possibly the most confident young player he'd ever met. Actually, when you were about 16 or 17.
Might have been a nice way of saying cocky, a little bit. Yeah, maybe. I might have been a little bit cocky when I was younger.
It's still a very positive attribute, in my opinion. And I wonder if you can communicate that to the players. I mean, it's interesting you've mentioned a bit of, narrow defeats lead to a bit of a loss of confidence, and that's